Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is an anticipated event. I have Astrology by Celeste backstage as we speak. This is an eclipse event. We will be speaking of some topics that may be sensitive to, but they are global events that are happening. And I truly believe that it's time to use astrology for some of the beautiful benefits that it can bring and the insights that it can bring into the world and help us as a people to navigate. Um, Astrology by Celeste, I found her via YouTube when she was collaborating with another fellow astrologer. And I was like, okay, boom, let's go ahead and bring her on. So without further ado, I'm going to let her really express more on her personal insight. We're going to be sharing the charts. I just want to remind everybody as well that on October 21st, there's an eclipse event coming. All right. Between the two eclipses, you have the possibility to win a free raffle, win a free reading as a part of celebrating hitting 4K on YouTube, as you might have heard prior. And that's an event that I really feel like is going to help us to really ground. We're going to be doing writing prompts. We're going to be doing breath work. We're going to be doing angelic Reiki and so much more. So you'll see that pinned up in the comments in the chat. And you'll also see all of Celeste contacts, her Instagram, her TikTok, her email. You want to book a reading with her. She has a free offering that I'm positive she's going to, and I want her to go ahead and announce what this free offering is. She has that for you. So you're going to want to check these things out there in a link, and I'm going to go ahead and bring her up front, and she can explain more of this. So please, without further ado, hit the thumbs up, hit the likes button, and welcome Astrology by Celeste. Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
Hello, Pernell. I'm so happy to be here talking with you today.
Yes, 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 yes. This is going to be a good day. I can feel it. So, why don't you tell us, what, as you get into it, what got you so involved in astrology? What made you want to come out here and talk about global events that we're going to discuss today?
Yeah, so I just love astrology. From a child, I loved the Greek mythology and
Sure.
really connected with the stories as
Mm,
a metaphor for life.
mm-hmm,
And when I started studying, and I knew I was a Taurus. I'm a Taurus sun, Aries moon, Cancer rising, and I really related to Taurus.
mm,
But I didn't have my first astrology reading until I was in my 40s, and it just really connected with me, told me so much about myself. And once I started studying it, I was like mind blown. And it just helped me understand myself better, other people, and have better relationships.
mm-hmm.
And it just took over my life. I just love it. It lit me up. I feel like I am on this earth to help share this beautiful tool with people for healing and self understanding.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel like I've been told I was an astrologer in a past life. So yeah,
No,
that.
I hear it. I hear it. I hear it 1,000%, and I'm here for it. Um, what if you mind? What is your south node? Matter of fact, I am curious about your south node from personal level. But what are three zodiac signs or three zodiac placements that you would like to share with the audience, so that the astrologers that are watching can feel like they connected with you because we're all into this space of astrology. It doesn't have to be your sun, moon, rising. What are your three favorite? If you were to pick, is it your Venus? Is it your south node? Is it your? Go ahead.
Okay, well, you asked about the South Node, and
Mm-hmm.
when I started studying about the South Node, that just blew my mind because my South Node is in Virgo in my
Mm.
third house.
Mm-hmm.
And the South Node speaks to your talents, but
Mm-hmm.
also your habits and kind of what is just comfortable and holds you back. And it's the North Node that we're supposed to be reaching for.
Sure.
And my North Node obviously is in Pisces in the ninth house.
Mm.
So I spent my career, the first 25 plus years in corporate America, in sales, marketing, and business development roles where I
Mm-hmm.
was very um, high stress, intense. I mean, very beneficial, but financially, but I really utilized that South Node in Virgo about being, perfectionistic and making
Sure.
triple checking everything. And it caused a lot of over time stress. And yeah, it's too much. So leaning into that, and I realized I thought, it was just like I love going to the spa that I go to in Mexico for a week every year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, It's called Rancho La Puerta. And I would go there and just totally calm down, let go of that stress. And Pisces, doing, yoga, Pilates, and hiking, and meditation, and sound healing, and eating really well, and feeling like that was a vacation rather than that is the way I'm supposed to live my life, with trust and intuition. And once I started making that shift from the Virgo to the Pisces, my life just, so much healing. So Jan Spiller's book about astrology for the soul, just
I have that one. Mind
every
blowing.
almost
Awesome.
every line she said about the South Node in Virgo was like, check, yes, check, yes,
Yeah.
check, yes.
I have that book and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and I have 5 planets in the 11th house of good fortune, where Jupiter has its joy. And so I have always had a lot of friends, and realized I can make friends anywhere. And I feel like that's a gift that at Mars and Venus and Gemini. Yeah, I feel like that's a gift. And
you have Mars and Venus. Wait, Mars and Venus and Gemini?
mm-hmm.
Ooh, I got the Venus and Gemini. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm a Sun Saturn, Sun Saturn in Taurus, and Mercury in Taurus, and then the Mars and Venus and Gemini. Those are all in my 11th house.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is delicious.
So my chart is very focused, and I feel like the 11th house, the house of friends, benefactors, the money we make from the work we do, groups, organizations. I've been in the same book club since I was for 25 years, more than 25 years now. Yeah. But it's also the house of other people's children. And I don't have my own children except my dogs. Yeah. So I feel like I was put on this earth to help other people's children. Yeah. Like I like my freedom. I like my freedom. So it's really nice that, I don't have my own. But yeah, I have a lot of independent signatures in my chart. I've got my Aries moon in the 10th house. I feel like with astrology, I help other people's children. A lot of people who come to me, like, didn't, don't have, there's something with the parental experience where they don't feel seen, or there's some, everyone has issues with their parents, but yeah, there's something
some way or another.
I have a Cancer rising, so I have that nature of caretaking for other people. Yeah. And
we appreciate this. I feel like it really, even me myself, I feel like we all got a chance to, really understand, at least from a wide scope, like a little bit about Celeste. And I feel like it's going to make your message today so much more relatable. And I really appreciate that. I have one question. Somebody who is a Virgo South Node, and we're going to get into the Libra Eclipse, but I feel like, I got to give out some love to the members. Jamie's one of our members. Any tips for making the shift? Now, Jamie, I'm guessing you're talking about from your Virgo South Node to your Pisces North Node. That's my guess, but can you confirm that? I'm not sure if that's exactly what she's talking about, but tips for making the shift. That's what I'm imagining.
Yes. Yeah. So the Virgo South Node, like the constant judging of myself and trying to make things perfect. So like what I did was I started catching myself and stopping myself and just trusting, knowing when I had done enough. And it led me to working less. This was when I was still in corporate, working less, and trusting things would work out, like listening to my inner voice. Yes, you've done enough, like leaning more into the intuition piece. I started working with tarot and oracle cards, and that helped me a lot make that shift to the more Piscean energies of the 9th house. Meditation is really helpful for that as well. When I got divorced years ago, I went to a 10-day Vipassana meditation course. And and like just use that for healing from that, the trauma.
Where was your Vipassana, if you mind?
Yeah, it was in Occidental California.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this was
Okay.
over 10 years ago, but it was
Sure.
life changing. On
Yeah.
day 6, I just thought, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
It's
And then I
terrifying.
started sneaking into the bathroom with my novel.
Uh-huh.
'Cause you're not supposed to do anything but be
Yeah,
silent.
yeah.
But I had to. I needed some help, so I would like read a little bit of the book while I was in the bathroom, and that helped me make it through the 10 days.
The
Yeah, but it was
Vipassanas are
life
tough.
changing.
The
Mhm.
Vipassanas are tough. The first time I really worked into one was in Asia, and yeah, it's a longer story. I feel like it's not even worth going into in the moment.
Yeah,
You know, you've been there. So,
yeah. So
that said,
catching myself when I was south noding,
yeah,
and intentionally north noding. That's what helped me make the shift.
I think
Yeah,
the key word you said was
it
intentionally
is
north noding.
exhausting, the Virgo energy. Yeah. Mhm.
Intentionally north noding. Intentionally north noding. So intentionally trying to put trust on something not necessarily logical, right? Something you can't really analyze, something you can't digest. Is just like, look, I'm a little in the dark. That is what it is. I imagine your Aries moon really kind of help you be the warrior in that moment, right?
Mhm.
Like of like, okay,
Yeah.
look, I gotta walk this alone when I'm in my private. This is my private space, Vipassana, X, Y, and Z. Let me just try to walk it alone and realize what comes next, and I don't have to know.
Mhm.
That's
Exactly.
beautiful. No, I definitely appreciate you for some of that background
And,
insight.
and
I see you already got, huh?
and it's like a balance. You don't want to move away totally from the Virgo, because Virgo energy is beautiful. I love Virgo. The moon is in Virgo today,
Mm-hmm.
and it is like brings order to chaos. The organizational piece, the service piece are beautiful about Virgo. And I was raised in my family to be of service, to
Mm-hmm.
volunteer, to give to charity, that sort of thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so Virgo energy is beautiful, but too much of it is can really run you down. Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
Chaos.
Pick,
Absolute
pick,
chaos.
pick. Yeah, picking yourself apart is the shadow, or other people is the shadow. So trust, compassion, mindfulness, surrender. These are the Pisces energies that leaning into them. Yeah, meditation. Mhm.
So you actually really led us to our next piece when you said other people, right? Like, which is bringing us into Libra. I'm
Mhm.
curious. I know you are active in tarot. Do you have a tarot card that you might like to pull that leads us into an
Oh,
overall arcane energy of this Libra eclipse, and then we get into the science behind what's going on?
okay, sure. I will use the Fountain Tarot,
All right.
and let's
I
see
want to
what
I want to
comes
put you on
up
the big screen.
about this Libra eclipse. Oh, a card just popped out. So I have a jumper, but I want to pull a card intentionally. Let's see what my jumper is. The jumper is the Lovers.
Ooh.
So, okay.
All right.
Jumper. What could be more perfect than the Lovers card about Libra? Because Libra is about one-on-one relationships, what
Mm,
we partner with, whether it is a love relationship, a best friend, a business partner. Open enemies also are covered
absolutely.
by Libra. Yeah, so that jumped out. Let me pull one more. What else about? Okay. Ooh, okay. 7 of Swords.
Mm,
So there's a lot of people who are confronting betrayal,
mm-hmm,
or confronting their issues with suspicion. I think the
mm,
7 of Swords also speaks to, a strategy,
mm.
and also speaks to, what decisions we're making in relationship, and can we be self-honoring in our
Mm,
relationships. But this
mm,
is a hard eclipse for some people because it's a
mhm,
south node solar eclipse. So what triggers eclipse season is when a solar eclipse is when there's an eclipse within 18 degrees of the north or the south node. And
Mhm.
the north node has an energy of gains and pulling us forward. And the south node speaks to what we have to kind of leave behind or let go of. And
Mm.
it can be things initiated by other people when there's a south node solar eclipse that we have to deal with unexpectedly. Yeah, so that's an important thing to realize. Let me pull one more card. I like to do threes. Three is the
Sure, sure.
magic number. My birthday is May 3rd, so I like threes.
Okay, we got a 3 baby.
Yes, let me pull one more card. Let's see what else. So we got the 7. And then the 2 of cups. So, yeah, wow. So let me read what the Fountain Tarot says about this 7 of Swords. Because the 2 of Cups is a card of relationships as well. Now it came upside down. So there are a lot of people we know. We just had Venus retrograde that are, relationships are ending. Oh, here we go. A questionable risk. Now, it can be courage and an innovative risk, but it also can feel like deceit or betrayal. It says, like, the intention of this thief, the meaning of the 7 of Swords relies on the circumstances around it. There's so love is always a risk. This is what I'm feeling with this. When you fall in love or you enter into any kind of relationship, the lovers with someone, you open yourself up to the risk of betrayal or hurt or deceit. Like someone may
Sure.
steal your heart. But emotionally, there are so much benefits with the 2 of Cups. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. So,
Mhm.
yeah. And I think this eclipse is like really beautiful because one of the things about it, so it's at 21 degrees of Libra, and the eclipse, the sun and the moon are together there in a quincunx with Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. Both Libra and Taurus are ruled by Venus, and Venus right now is in Virgo, which is technically the sign of her fall. And she's going to be and she is now separating from an opposition with Saturn. So you can think about, what do you want to cut out, 7 of Swords, leave behind in terms of shadow Libra energies, because the South Node encourages us to leave behind shadows of that sign. So shadow Libra energies can be things like fickleness or people pleasing or just going along to get along, or like Libras can, or being just indecisive. Let's make a decision and move forward and take charge of our decision. Or shadow Libras can be like trying to enlist other people to fight your battles. These are things that you want to leave behind, like stand up and take accountability, Venus and Virgo, for your own actions. And like with the king comes to Uranus, awakening to these things and making the changes. Yeah, I think these are good ways to use this energy. Recognizing the issues and making the changes.
1,000%. 1,000%. I always look at Libra as like that sign of like, to kind of maximize that energy, be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, and to be intentional, we have to recognize. Hit me.
Passive aggressiveness. Cut that out. Yeah. Leave that behind. That's like a big shadow Libra energy. Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
So,
shedding the shadow aspects. Yeah.
So if I got this right, here's what we're looking at so far. We had the overall energy being the lovers, where it's like, okay, hey, look, love is risky. Love comes with a challenge, right? Like, you want the love story, but what are these ways we might be sabotaging ourselves through mental thoughts and processes, our suspicions, and addressing and handling those suspicions in a passive aggressive manner rather than recognizing and becoming aware of where being direct can be very beneficial. instead of walking on eggshells and kind of hoping that something will change. And it's like, well, we didn't honor ourselves in order for that internal process to reflect externally what this change is about, right? And this is what I'm kind of getting so far. And it's like, for us to bring the love that we actually that we want, that we idolize, it's time to essentially walk towards what the gains of courage and, you know, bravery can
The
open
North
as
Node
for
in
new doors.
Aries. Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. Aries energy. Yeah.
So
And
I'm
being
saying one
direct.
example.
Aries is direct rather
Yes.
than passive aggressive.
Yes. Yes. So I'm saying one answer here. Like, I deleted Facebook family members because it's not even like we were friends like that. And you know, Libra has a connection with family,
That
right? As a
Seven
part
of
of Venus.
Swords, delete.
Just whop, pop, right? Cut off with their head kind of energy. And I've noticed that family is one of the major ones with the whole Venetian aspect, where Libra is still a mental body sign, right? So like a lot of it's still in the mind, where it's like, okay, well, some might not cut the family member off because that's not being loyal to the bloodline or something. But it's like, is that what you truly feel in your heart? I think what Venus and Leo was teaching us, or is that your ideal? Right? Is that just a mental construct of, well, because family is family, this is what family means. This is what it always has meant. Versus, you know, astrology by Celeste is my family because I'm an astrologer. She's an astrologer, and she feels more like family than my uncle, who only talks about horse racing, and I don't care about horse racing. You know what I mean? So that's just like an example, you know, just to kind of play around with it. I've been saying this over and over. It feels like it's a tribe season, you know. It is a tribal type energy. Libra wants the right people at the campfire. Somebody who has a talent, an individual talent, being the shadow of Aries, that they can bring that makes the group better somehow, some way. The whole group benefits by sharing stories about how they support the next individual in that group. And it's like now we essentially merge in our own way, which kind of leads into Scorpio, right? So all right, so thank you. This is an overall, understand what she just did was the overall arcing energy of the eclipse, right? And so now we're getting ready to potentially show the chart and move into how might this solar eclipse in Libra, this new moon, which new moons in general take around that 6-month manifestation period, but how might, and the eclipses can even be longer or shorter. You know, the whole thing is you don't, you know, trying to be too much in control of it really just throws us off, right? But there are global events happening, and there are a lot of people in an uproar. Their energy is not very stable. And Celeste has a chart she's going to get ready to pull up if she wants to go ahead and lead into that area, or you have something else you wanted to cover first.
Oh, is it share? I said share my screen. Wait, why is it not
Oh,
sharing?
my bad. I just have to add it. That's all.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So this is the Libra solar eclipse set in Washington, D.C. So you can see here the sun and the moon are both at 21 degrees of Libra. And there are a couple of things that really jump out about this this eclipse. So it's a south node solar eclipse, which I already talked about. It has like a descendant quality of actions by someone else may require your attention. There also can be like letting go of things or new starts that come from something in the past. And the south node is at 24 degrees of Libra, which is on a very important fixed star called Spica, which is a star. When people have this prominent in their chart, they can sometimes be very successful, like in terms of it can be a talent, it can be art, it can be music, it can be business. It can be a talent with like kind of anything. Also about wealth. Spica also speaks to relationships like marriage and partnerships. And it can also, the South Node is a cosmic drain. It's the cosmic vacuum cleaner that can suck things out of our lives. So on a geopolitical stage, there is so much going on about this energy, in terms of, you can think about what happened to Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House. So Libra rules our partnerships, and this a fellow congressman, Matt Gaetz, initiated him losing his honor. I think Speaker also speaks to honors of being the Speaker of the House. And it was like fast moving, and it just like he got like just cut out of his speakership. Yeah, so you can think about that being a story, because you see these things come in 6 weeks before, and 6 weeks after. You can see a lot of the events of the eclipse coming in. Yeah, so you can think about a lack of civility. Libra rules civility by this person who was supposed to be his partner and working with him. That's Libra South Node energy. That lack of tact and civility, and like kind of took him out, was one of the things that we saw. Another thing about this eclipse, you can see Mercury, the planet of communication and planning. And
Celeste, I have a question. Is it possible for you to zoom in on this picture, or like where the planets you're talking, like whether Mercury or circle it so it's a little more visible somehow?
You can't see. You can't. I'm circling on the wrong screen. Sorry. Can you see my circle? Oh, now you can see my circle. Well, apologies. So here's the sun and the moon in the 9th house of foreign affairs. So this speaks to what the United States is dealing with. You can think about how the United States sun with the Sibley chart is at 13 degrees of Cancer. And you can see on the ascendant here, we've got 13 degrees of Capricorn. So that already suggests there's some kind of someone outside of ourselves that the United States is being forced unexpectedly to deal with. And it's in the 9th house of long distance, foreign lands. I'm doing it again. Mercury is within 8.3 degrees of the sun. So that is called combustion. When a planet is combust, it is signaling weakness, dying, or invisibility. So Mercury is combust and opposite Chiron, exactly. And so now we know part of that story. So, and you look to the United States, like Matt Gaetz was making these secret deals behind the scenes, most likely, about taking Kevin McCarthy out and wounding Kevin McCarthy with Chiron. Yeah. And in Israel, Hamas, behind one of the big things about this terror attack is that they didn't see it coming. The planning was done behind the scenes in secret for an attack, wounding, hurting. So yeah, you can see that with this signature. Now you can use Mercury opposite Chiron for healing. I think this is a great eclipse for people if you're in a relationship and you've been having difficulties or not if there's a lot simmering underneath the surface, going to counseling can help you bring that Mercury combust to the light and talk about issues for healing. Yeah. Or even just yourself, like going to therapy yourself can be a great thing for people to do with this eclipse. And by the time it happens, Mars, which is now in Libra, will have moved into Scorpio, where Mars is strong in Scorpio. So yeah, we're going to see the gloves come off. Yeah. With that energy. But Scorpio can be strategic and taking the right actions to like cutting out the cancer. You can think about it with that. A surgeon, Mars in Scorpio can be a surgeon. Yeah, so those are some of the things. You can see Venus in Virgo. Now, Virgo is the sign of Venus's fall, but it also, you can speak about how, like, it's interesting. Mars, the fighting, the aggressive energy is strong. Venus, peace. Like, a big part of this eclipse is that peace has been eclipsed in Israel, but it has impacts all around the world.
Sure.
This is a really, really, really big conflict that's just beginning. So it's awful. It's very plutonic. And today, as we're talking, Pluto is stationing to go direct. Yeah. Pluto is stationing.
That's today. That's today, no?
Yeah. Yes. Pluto.
How do you feel Pluto's going direct? What impacts will begin to show? What do you predict, at least, that the transformation, or even interpret what has already been transforming?
So when a planet stations to go either way, 5 days before and 5 days after, you have a real intensification of the energy. And the attack on Israel happened as Mars, the day before Mars, the planet of action and conflict, aggression, violence, squared Pluto. So we saw, it's brought to our attention on this collective level, plutonic things. I mean, we saw images that are just horrific about, children being kidnapped and old people and women being raped and brutalized and all of this kind of stuff that is meant to cause terror and terrorize people. Pluto is the lord of the underworld, where the unspeakable things happened and the unspeakable surfaced. Yeah. And it's complex situation. I just want to say that. I mean, this conflict is biblical and going back to the 40s and all of that. So, but just what we're seeing is very plutonic. So Pluto's moving direct. So we're going to be seeing, and the lunar eclipse is the sun in Scorpio, the moon in Taurus. It's the last lunar eclipse in those two, with the Taurus Scorpio axis.
Sure.
Yeah. So Scorpio sun putting spotlight on plutonic themes. And the moon in Taurus fighting over resources, land, and boundaries and things like that. Yeah. And so we also see, as a retaliatory thing, that Israel is cutting off fuel, food, and electricity to the Palestinian people in Gaza, which is horrific. So they're going to be experiencing these civilians, this plutonic energies of, like, kind of fighting for survival with a lack of resources. This is Uranus in Taurus. Uranus breaks things suddenly. Now they don't have these resources. So, I mean, this is just, so we are seeing this horror unfolding. We're also seeing people around the world celebrating this, and it's rising. The anti-Semitic rhetoric is rising up again very strongly. I just saw in Sydney, Australia, there's like people outside the Opera House saying, death to the Jews, gas the Jews, all this kind of plutonic stuff. Mars in Libra, gas, to kill someone. Yeah. Mars is still in Libra today anyway. Yeah. And Pluto is at the 27th degree, almost 28th degree of Capricorn, which is the exaltation degree of Mars. So Pluto's a higher octave of Mars, and there is this, like, really and Pluto in Capricorn is almost to the end of the sign. I mean, it dipped into Aquarius and then it's kind of moved back. So we're seeing this duality of the shadow energies of big governments and big business, and there's this decay and they're breaking down. All across the world, we're seeing like rising of fascism, showing the shadow energies of governments and big business. Yeah, they're too big to fail, but other people can, the ordinary citizens can lose their homes when, you can think about when Pluto entered Capricorn, the first thing that happened was like the financial collapse.
Sure.
Because of all those mortgages and all of that kind of stuff. Now, as Pluto moves into Aquarius, we're seeing shadow energies about the Aquarian, the group, the collective, when people come together to wreak havoc is one of the things we're seeing. Like in the US, we're having like these groups running into stores and stealing like everything off the shelves kind of energy. Yeah. So that's what I think about the Pluto at the end of the sign, and that Mars square Pluto bringing these things to light.
So how about when we add that layer of, obviously now the moon and the south node are in their conjunction during this south node. So it's like, okay, Mars in Libra just squared Pluto in Capricorn. Okay. How do we take what you just said about that and some of these examples of global events that are occurring and add the extra layer of what does the south node really mean here? Are these things happening so that more harmony and peace can essentially begin by us really kind of recognizing that, like you said, since the 40s in Israel with the Palestinians, this has been an event, right? How Americans are even handling their politicians, this has been an event. Anyone who decides to speak up and speak out, this has been an event of how we handle these events. So how do you feel the South Node in Libra in this politician space, or people who are rule makers, lawmakers, negotiators, whether for peace or otherwise, what do you feel is the impact the South Node has considering all the global events occurring?
I think it's the South Node is helping expose all of the issues, and that it's up to the people to make the changes necessary to enact what we want. Do we want, like in the US, we're in our Pluto return, and the Pluto's in the second house of the US chart. And the second house is not just finances, it's also values. So it speaks to, is democracy really important for us? And if so, are people going to become active and vote or work for democracy? Because we are potentially on the brink of fascism in the United States in many ways, and complete chaos. Our government is like in chaos, literally.
Right.
Pluto, as Pluto was coming to station, the Speaker of the House is out, so the government is literally paralyzed. Now, as Pluto starts moving, there'll be someone new with power. And how are they going to use it? How are they going to wield it? Are the people in their district going to bring them back at the next election if they just do nothing but cause chaos and havoc? We shall see. So yeah, these energies, I feel like it's being brought to our attention, and we can decide to take action. We can decide to ignore it. We can decide, oh, we like people have a choice. Now, the people of Israel, are they going to hold their politicians accountable for what has happened? Is there any way the world can bring to bear some kind of two-state solution? It's been tried for decades, but could this be something that is the breaking point that we have to find some better way forward? Yeah. Or is it just going to be more of the same or continued breakdown? All things are possible. Uranus is going to be conjunct the fixed star Algol, which is one of the most feared fixed star in the heavens at 26 degrees of Taurus next year, that speaks to catastrophes in mundane astrology, the astrology of world events. The North Node was on Algol when the war in Ukraine started. So there's going to be more chaos before there's, resolution, I feel like, throughout the world.
How about this question on screen? With
Mhm.
Pluto stationing direct at 27 degrees 53 minutes and being so close to the U.S. Pluto return at 27 degrees 33 minutes, do you think this will be stronger for us as a country?
Oh yeah, you were already seeing it. Yes. So as like right when the South Node went into Libra, we've been seeing this breakdown of things. So when the South Node went into Libra, the North Node in Aries, it squared Pluto, and
Hmm.
we're in our Pluto return. And one of the other stories is this Tommy Tuberville is a senator from Alabama who is stopping military appointments because he disagrees with the abortion policy that the military has. So this one person is preventing the United States preparedness militarily because of his values. Yeah. So that's
Mm.
like another Pluto return. So we're seeing strong things. It's like our government, the people we've elected are like causing the governmental breakdown. Yeah. So we're seeing that.
Mm.
It's definitely intense, and it's going to get more intense. And we'll see. I mean, I think there's going to be events potentially in the United States because we see. Let me put this chart around the United States. Hmm. So this is the United States Sibley chart on the inside, and then the eclipse on the outside. And as you can see, the United States is, we're not going to have an exact hit of our Pluto return. Pluto takes 250 years to go around the chart. So this is the
Hmm.
United States' first Pluto return. And Pluto only moves a degree or two a year. So this
Hmm.
is a long time, transit where things are being unearthed and exposed. I felt like when Donald Trump came down the escalator, that was a symbol of our Pluto return, bringing to light all of these things that, shadow energies that were simmering beneath the surface around,
Mm.
race relations and the the wealth disparity between the rich and the poor,
Hmm.
sending a lot of allowing all manufacturing to be going outside of the country and all of that kind of stuff were brought to light. Yeah, how our government has kind of betrayed us in many ways. Yeah. And you can see that the eclipse is in the 10th house of the United States. And the 10th house in mundane astrology rules the leader. I mean, Joe Biden, they opened an impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden. And Dianne Feinstein died. You can think about how that's weakened the government as well. And yeah. And we
Mm.
have it's to our Juno, the asteroid of partnership. The United States is a partner of Israel. We send them a lot of money. And there's certain people in Congress like AOC and others who want us to stop supporting Israel financially. So
Mm.
yeah, this is an intense energy that's impacting the United States and our
And
government.
now, and if I'm not mistaken, that's what Pluto is. That Pluto right there in the second house. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes.
So literally us changing how we financially support and bank with other people,
Hmm.
and who are those other people?
Hmm.
Like literal power moves, saying something like this has become debilitating or disempowering, at least from a financial standpoint, or even from a political. I don't know if I want to say political. Well, it's Capricorn, so yeah, I could say political. Even from a
Hmm.
political standpoint, how we're
Yeah.
like, look, like this isn't efficient for us.
Yeah, and the Ukraine, like there are people who want the U.S. to stop sending money to Ukraine.
Mm.
So, or take it from Ukraine and send it to Israel. I mean, there's all these now there's going to be all these big fights about the money to support the foreign countries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
we are getting lit up. Whenever you have an eclipse in your first, 10th, 7th, or 4th house, there are going to be events that come up that are impacting you. Like sometimes it can be you fall in love, an eclipse in your 1st or 7th house. Yeah. Sometimes it can
Sure.
be you change your job or move or whatever, but there tends to be something important coming up with those. And if we look at Israel, so you can see the eclipse is at 21 degrees of Libra, and look right there, 23 degrees. So literally, this is the first house of Israel. So like can you move the
I was just trying to go ahead and put this somewhere else. I wish they would let us stack on top of each other, but it's not trying to let that go down.
Yeah. So last week, Mars met the South Node at 24 Libra, right there on the ascendant. Mars attacks, and you can see. Let me put the. And you. This is the eclipse in. Interesting. The eclipse set in Tel Aviv, and that's the United States ascendant, 12 degrees of Sagittarius. Very interesting. And the moon of the United States is 27 Aquarius. So this is a big story about the United States as well. Let me put Israel so you can see. Okay. So the eclipse, look at the eclipse right on their ascendant. So when you're looking at mundane astrology, the ascendant speaks to the image of the country, the health, vitality of the country at this present moment. And the South Node makes a big sucking sound. So people who are Libra risings may be noticing with the South Node in Libra, they have less energy, need more sleep, need to be more focused on, how they're eating for their vitality. For a country, yeah, it's making this sucking sound. And the Mars square Pluto was at 27. And look at where Pluto is, right at the 4th house cusp in terms of the land, the resources. You can see the South nodes on the ascendant, the North nodes on the descendant. The North node speaks to gain. So their open enemy has made some gains. And Jupiter's on the North node. So their open enemy is getting resources from somewhere else. Yeah. And Uranus is on their sun. Uranus, a violation of land boundaries. The land boundaries of Israel were violated during this attack, but it's all about the fight over the land.
So if I'm not mistaken, that's 23 that's 23 degrees.
Yep, sun.
So now you're quincunxing. If you could maybe talk about what might that quincunx relationship between Libra and Taurus and Uranus be speaking about, right? Because that's now this misunderstanding that's happening between the two elements.
So Venus rules both Taurus and Libra, and you can think about Libra, about relationships, diplomacy. So one of the reasons Hamas has attacked is because they don't like that Israel is trying to form a better relationship with Saudi Arabia. So they're trying to strengthen diplomatic ties. Well, now, is that gone? Yeah, you can think about that, the relationship between them and the United States. With Taurus, you're thinking about resources, the Venusian properties of like money. So there's pressure in the United States. Oh my goodness, Jasmina said there's an asteroid Israel currently at 22 degrees of Libra. Oh, wow. Yes.
I just
Astrology is
asked her
so,
what was it about because I'm not familiar with that particular asteroid.
there's asteroids for everything, but the asteroid
Everything.
called Israel, yeah, that makes so much sense that it is now at, when COVID happened, there was a Wuhan asteroid that was highlight. I can't remember exactly
Really?
what was going on. Was Uranus on it or something? I can't remember. But
So
yeah,
what
that's
is that? Do you know what
that's
the asteroid Israel is about?
well, it's just an asteroid named Israel.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's asteroids for everything. You can go into asteroid. You can go to astro.com, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
setting when you pull up your chart, you can pick asteroids, and you'll
Sure.
see that people in your life, like your parents, you can look for your parents' names, your children's names, and your name, and you'll often, or people you dated, your partners, and you'll find there's a story there often. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, Taurus principles are about land. It's an earth sign. Libra's air. Air is about relationships, connection, and treaties. Libra rules treaties and things like that. Taurus rules resources like land and things like that. So the quincunxes, I love the way Bernadette Brady describes them. She talks about quincunxes can move us into new situations where we have to release and let go of something. So we'll yeah, we'll see what is released and let go of with
So
this.
this one may be
Also,
out of time. If I'm just thinking up front, this one may be way like timeline, way too unpredictable. Which I
yes.
guess Uranus is also already doing. But I imagine that if you consider Venus, like there's a religious aspect to Venus. You know, when you
Hmm.
look at what is the religion our people, our family, our culture is founded upon. And I know enough to know that there's conflicts between, and there always has been religious conflicts in Israel. Even when you look like, I think before like 19, I don't quote me on this date, y'all. Before the 1943, I believe Israel was actually on a geographic map. It was called Palestine. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's already been like rewritten and erased and formed into Israel in the modern day. And again, I don't know the right year, so don't quote me, whoever's listening, to the direct year. But if you look, you'll find geographic maps on of like Earth, and it was not called Israel. And so I imagine that when you just spoke about the quincunx relationship of like, usually something has to kind of be let go or exchanged, and like, some misunderstanding requires a little tweak here and tweak here. A lot of with the Middle East has been about religion. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of it about who is God, who do we pray to. Um, you know, there's been this anti-Semitic talk that began to come out, and it got blown out like 6 months ago. I think it was really, really heavy 6 to 8 months ago, and it all links back in. And I feel like when I look at it and I think of like history as a word, like Taurus being a part of history, something that stays still long enough to watch all the change happening, right? If Libra is cardinal air and it's like new news, new information, new communications kind of coming through, new negotiations, Taurus, one of those elements. If I look at the quincunx, it stays still long time. It doesn't move. And it watches all these changes before it decides I'm going to make a move. Because I'm like, look, most of these changes were superficial, and it wasn't, of the homeland. It wasn't of the original, of something natural. And I imagine that this quincunx relationship really is trying to break up a narrative. What the story, I don't know, but something in the spaces of the how religion separates us rather than bring us together. And I think this is a huge, huge point. Whether you look at the Sunnis and the Shiites, right? There's all these separations where it's like at the end of the day, you're the same people. At the end of the day, and
Brother.
you know what I mean. Like it doesn't matter if you're an African American or Sunni, or a Jew or someone from Argentina. Like at the end of the day, you're people, and I feel like these are long-term timelines that in 1-2 years is not going to change significantly enough. Even what I'm saying could within itself can create more division and anger and rage, because it's like, no, this is me, or no, this is my culture, no, this is, you don't know, blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, right? The end of the day, when I look at like your North Node in Pisces, for example, when we return to pure consciousness, all of that stuff is stripped away from us. Every single one of those labels, every single one of them. When we return to pure consciousness, we no longer have a physical body, which means that culture goes with it, as well as religion, as well as science. And these science and religion being the two of the main things that we use as humans to understand our external reality, right? So again, that's a long-term timeline where I don't see that happening in 1 to 2 years. I don't even see it happening in 5 years. But it's one of the things that kind of just triggered and made me think how this quincunx, in an event like this, and that sudden onset of war reappearing, and the South Node being near, can really start to reveal what will it take for us to meet a more harmonious and stable platform.
I feel like you're talking about the eclipse is quincunx Uranus and Neptune. So you're talking about the Neptune principles of religion and oneness and all of that. And Uranus, science and innovation and all of that. Yeah. What adjustments need to be made for both of them? In the United States, there are people here trying to turn us into a theocracy. So, yeah.
Right.
Trying to make that adjustment. Right. So are people just going to ignore it and let it just happen? A slow plutonic shift. And one day we wake up and we're told we have to wear certain clothes and do this, that, the other thing. Yeah.
Well, something strange is going to have to happen in the U.S. Like when we go back to that Pluto imploding, if I'm being honest, it's one of the main reasons why I'm not there. Like it's one of the reasons. Like I have no intention to return, like not even a little bit. And it's like, what would that change look like? That's something personally, I'd rather wait that out outside the country. Personally, that's how I feel on a personal level. And when you look at it, right, it's like Capricorn is it's a sign that really loves to control.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a sign that's like, look, like I have subordinates. It's the house of subordinates, right? So it's like I'm not really listening to your rule. So when it meets a big beast like Pluto, like you said, higher octave of Mars, these are one of the fewer things that it has to respond to. And it's gonna go out swinging, personal opinion. So what does that look like in back on Earth? I don't know. But when you consider that quincunx relationship to Neptune, it's all about, okay, well, if Capricorn is bringing in these boundaries and restrictions, well, Neptune energy is like, let's dissolve the boundary altogether. Let's completely make this thing disappear as if it never existed.
Yeah, well, think about the border in the United States with Mexico. So Joe Biden is now there is such a problem with the influx of refugees and people coming in that cities can't handle it. The mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, is in, I think, Guatemala, telling people, stop coming here. We cannot support you. And Joe Biden is putting up some more border wall because it's just putting too much strain on the country, as well as bringing disease. There's a rise in tuberculosis and other things going on in the U.S. And I'm wondering if Mercury opposite Chiron, this will become even more prevalent about something going on. Mercury in an air sign, illness about something taking off in the United States. There's also been malaria popping up in the United States. So this could also be part of this eclipse. Yeah, there's some.
So when I hear you say that, it makes me feel and think, okay, well, considering this happened at 21 degrees, being things like foreign relationships and foreign affairs in Sagittarius, right? It's like, all right, foreign policies, foreign laws, how much of this conjunct the South Node again is news that we're using to be passive aggressive in our narratives? Where is it really about malaria? Is it really about tuberculosis? Because when I look at this back from a scientific standpoint, for example, Libra air, okay, are part of our lung systems. And let's just kind of stop there. Tuberculosis, lungs, air, a disease coming from foreign countries back at 21 degrees. Is that true? And when I kind of look at that, and I don't know where it might say this in a chart yet, but it's like most of that is just something of a lifestyle change. And it has not much to do with who comes from what country and bringing X, Y, and Z disease. It's like if you took a walk for at least 30 minutes a day, right? Got some sunlight, make some shifts and alterations in your diet, and start moving your body, none of those things will impact you. Like,
yeah, there's also, if your immune system, anything you can do to make yourself healthier is a good thing to do. You're less likely to be impacted by a disease, but some people have a propensity for certain things, or some people to have illnesses and things like that, or asthma. I have asthma, so I don't want to be in the same room as someone with tuberculosis. Regardless of how well I'm taking care of myself, my lungs are weakened genetically. So we don't want to blame people for getting sick too.
I hear that. That is a narrative. That is a narrative. I guess what on this, when I look at this, I studied chronic diseases. That was my major before astrology. And 90% is lifestyle choice. Like the predisposition, at least from a stat, is literally 1%. It's so rare that it's almost not important. But it's easier. Like I said, like when I look at South Node again, conjunct Libra, conjunct Mercury, our minds, when I look at Venus, we have adopted the mental body of this is information we have been fed. And plenty of people in these politician places, they understand that not everybody's going to come on here and actually be a science of the physiology. So like if I take myself for example, it's like physiological and genetic diseases is my actual study. And they understand that we are a very small percent. And generally, we don't always have a platform that's going to be larger than CDC. And so when I say that, I'm saying like I left that industry because they told me we can't tell them what we know we could do. We know we could cure cancer. They literally obliged me to never make that mention. And it's these things where I'm like, but wait, you're the doctor, you're the doctor, you're the doctor, and we're all in this same space. And you're telling me that you know we can, but publicly you can't say that. And legally, you have to say it like this. May cause, may cause, may cause, may cause. And I'm like, but each one of you know that that's not true. But they care more about their license and the fact that they're trapped at that point. Because now they went to school for 10, 12 years. They're in so much debt. They begin to believe that even when they know it's not true.
Yeah, I mean, it is a problem that there is never a statement about, taking care of your health is the best way to prevent disease. It's never that. It's like, take this pill or do this or that. Yeah.
And it's
you're
too
not
simple.
even allowed to say, doctors are scared to tell people to lose weight for their health because they may get a bad review or something like that.
And what you said
is one of the greatest causes of disease. Yeah.
And what you said is so true. And this is where I feel like Capricorn and Pluto blowing up is happening in the US. Because when I was living in Thailand, when I was living in Bali, that is not the narrative. That's not the story. That when I was afraid to go to the doctor.
Right away.
Yeah, like
so much.
like here's what's ironic. I went to when I was having these wild migraines, like wild. And I'm thinking something literally has to be wrong. I'm thinking I have to have a disease. Somehow, some way, something has to be wrong.
Yeah.
And when I go to the doctors, they tell me to buy a cactus, place it on my desk, and they tell me after 30 minutes of being on the computer, close your computer for at least 5, and then open it again and do that for 30 minutes again. And I'm telling you, done. They literally
Mm.
tell me to start staring at green because the mind is more relaxed when it sees green. And it was like, go ahead and put more plants in your home. And it was the simplest solution. They didn't tell me to take a pill. They
Mhm.
didn't tell me that I needed even exercise. They were like, you need your mind to rest more.
Mhm.
And the same thing happened when I began to get rashes all over my body. The same thing happened. And they were like, yes, climate is different. You need more airflow in your boxer region because now you have to understand you're going to sweat here based off of humidity. And it's like, again, it's like, wait a minute. They just told me to make it's a lifestyle choice, right?
Mhm.
A little shift in the clothes that I buy ultimately took away heat rashes, which I had no idea was a thing. So the
Mm.
first thing they didn't do was put this cream for your heat rash or take this pill for your migraine. And
Yeah.
this is where I look at like the US is the one imploding
Mhm.
on these high authorities, someone like the CDC, someone like a doctor,
Yeah.
right? Who has a specialized profession. And they also are being manhandled and put under a power struggle of you can and can't say X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Yeah. I will give Kaiser props for my dry eye. They just all they'll do is tell me to take eye drops and rest my eyes and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah.
I see we have in the chat anticipating great change, but also has a nervous and feeling a little ungrounded.
That's Uranus. Uranus can like ramp up your anxiety. So use your breath to calm down. Yeah. Because
Yes.
it's intense. This is intense. Pluto stationing today. There's like this drumbeat underneath the surface that can bring and surface fears up. Yeah. But
1,000%. Thousand
yeah,
percent.
but use your breath, use meditation, um, things like that. Yeah.
So here's what we would do. We could take a moment to do a breath exercise
Okay.
over the next 2 minutes, and it's super quick. It's super quick. Here, I'll do one with you. Okay. So first, before I do anything, I want you to see your hands and start shaking them. And I want you to imagine lightning bolts just shocking and jumping out of your hands. Let this represent the electricity and the nervous energy, the anxiety just shooting out. And then notice your jaw begin to relax and realize that, wow, my teeth were tense. I'm just relaxing my jaw. And then first couple ones, I'm not even really inhaling, I'm just getting it out. Good. Okay, here we go. So now I'm gonna have you place your hands on your heart. I'm gonna just notice me just relax my shoulders. And then without even hearing your own breath, I want you to inhale peace, inhale tranquility, inhale stability. Now hold your breath at the top. Then you're just going to open your mouth and allow the air to escape as if you were blowing mist on a school bus window, creating hearts. And this time we're going to inhale harmony, soft and slow. We're going to inhale balance. And we're going to inhale love. And then we're going to exhale all the anxiety. Exhale the worries. Exhale the fear. Finally, soft and slow, 7-second inhale. We're going to inhale bravery, inhale courage. We're going to inhale truth. And anything that's not that, like school bus mist, we'll just allow our mouth to open and allow the air to escape at its own pace, at its own rate. And notice the difference that you feel in your heart. This heart of yours you can trust. This heart of yours deserves to be honored. Mm. And notice how quickly and easily and efficiently you just brought yourself back to center. If you found that beneficial, again, check out the eclipse event I'm hosting on October 21st, where we're going to be doing so many more exercises like that. And I particularly did them in between the Libra eclipse and the Taurus eclipse, smack in the middle to cover a little bit of both and just bring the clarity, bring the peace. So thank y'all for going ahead and taking that time to do the exercise with me. And remember, we're doing that raffle and that giveaway. But just really take in like, wow, how quickly it took me less than 2 minutes. How quickly did I just woosah. If you start doing that before you turn your phone on in the morning, before you close your eyes at night, 2 minutes, in 2 minutes, it's 4 minutes total a day. If you make that little small Virgo-like commitment while Venus is in Virgo, that little routine, something so simple, we could then relax our minds and bring us back to truth. And then from there, you'll know exactly what to do.
That was
Beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for joining in with me as well. And just,
Yeah.
live, just right here,
Well, thank you so much for having me. I want to let people know that I think you have the link in. You can go find me, Astrology by Celeste, everywhere. I do a lot on Instagram and my website, astrologybyceleste.com. You can download a free guide about the moon cycles. And on the 22nd, which is next Sunday, I'm having a free webinar about the signs as mirrors. So that may be interesting for people. Yeah.
And so I have it
There's a
right
link.
here. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a
if
link.
you guys look in the chat, all right, just scroll up. You'll see this right here. I wonder if I can copy and paste this and bring it back to the bottom.
Oh, and I have a Celestial Insights podcast that I do every week to help you prepare for the week and surf the energies like a boss.
Absolutely. And so you'll see that in the description, her podcast link. Honestly, all of her links. Just look at most of you are watching this on YouTube, I imagine all of her links are directly under, and you'll see them here. Right. So this is me just sharing on the screen, but all of them are pretty much right underneath each other, and it's pretty clean and clear. I believe there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's her podcast. You have her free giveaway. Definitely check this out. You have her event on the 22nd. Go check it out, especially if you enjoyed this information. You see her LinkedIn if you want to get to know her on a professional level, right? These are all here. So wherever you feel called, check them out. I think her Instagram are the most daily of updates that I've seen personally. Yeah. Or if you like podcast format, I see that they're coming out on YouTube. So again, check them out, especially if you understood and you loved her style of what she presented today. Go ahead and share and spread the love and keep it that simple. So, Celeste, that said.
Yes. Pernell, what is your YouTube? Somebody is asking.
What's my YouTube?
Yes.
It's just my name.
Someone's watching on my channel asking for your YouTube.
Oh, okay. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. It's my name, Pernell Bobby. You can literally type Pernell Bobby. I'll type it up on the chat and I should just come up. I also show up as Astro Shaman. Really, either one that you type, I should show up. But this is my name. If you type this here, you'll find me on any platform. It's pretty much the same through and through. Instagram, YouTube, the nine. YouTube is where I spend most of my time. If I'm being honest, I don't take Instagram very serious. I just talk to people through Instagram. I think it's a little easier to connect and talk. I use it as more of a communication platform rather than something I take serious. YouTube is where you'll find me mostly, other than that, and my memberships. You know, we had at least 3 or 4 members I've seen in the chat. The memberships is where I spend the majority of my time, and that's where we get to talk about the stuff that we can't say on the internet. Um, I had to learn that lesson. I can't say everything on the internet. Life forced me to figure that one out at some point. So the memberships, you'll find it's all on my website. And like I said, the best event that I think that you should join right now, personal opinion, and I'm giving away a free reading based off of, it's a raffle system. You'll see all the descriptions in the 9. It's October 21st. There is an eclipse event. I'm running it to do many grounding exercises. There's going to be writing prompts. I think the greatest value is the angelic Reiki. This is freeing yourself from a Neptunian, Piscean standpoint where some chains, some boundaries have nothing to do with Earth. Angelic Reiki will help you there. There's a water renewal spell that I'm going to be helping you guys out with. And again, water works very well with air when you know how to combine the 2 different elements. And that's kind of a little bit outside of astrology, but it goes right back into astrology as you get deeper into it. So that said, that's all there. Thank you for mentioning that. Oh, is this the Order of the Bees? Is that who this was?
Yes.
Well, welcome. Glad to meet you here. And yeah, guys, make sure you go check her channel. Y'all see it? She has the event on 22nd. Check her website. You have all the links in the description. Celeste, is there a closing message that you have for us that you feel is on your heart that you must say before you make your next move?
Yeah, I think, just stay present with what comes up during the eclipse. Look at your Libra house in your chart, and there's things seated in that house. Now, a lot of people are going to have beautiful things happen. I mean, the Lover's card was there. So with Venus and Virgo, what are you dedicated to? What are you devoted to? Think about how you can bring more love into your life, and yeah, let go of shadow Libra energies as much as you can and cultivate more Aries energies and balance the 2. Yes. And yeah, I think a lot of wonderful things will happen, but there is a lot of chaos, and using like the tools that we just did, like the breath, I think that's a beautiful way to ground yourself. Yes. And stay calm through chaos.
Absolutely. Especially it's air sign season, like I've been telling everybody, like, breathe. This is an air energy, Libra responds to breath work very well, Gemini, Aquarius. But another way you can do that, if you struggle to do breathing on your own, go up, if you have a rooftop, just let the air breeze against your skin. It's a very applicable way. Like, I have a rooftop. Whenever I'm having too many thoughts, I go to my roof and I just sit there in silence. And I don't always meditate, honestly. I just sit and I just watch what the birds are saying. The birds are communicating. Birds are part of air sign energy. Like, if you just listen, you might hear the bird tweet 4 times and it's telling you angel number 4, right? You might see a number 6 and it's telling you angel number 6. And these little things give you indication. So the higher the altitude, if you can hike, you have a mountain in your area, you can go hiking. The higher up you go, the more power and access you have to the beauty that all air signs have. And just understand, it's a Libra season. And now vice versa, you got the Taurus eclipse coming, which is pretty much neck to neck. That's earth magic. Something simple as putting your feet in the dirt. It's my favorite earth exercise. Literally in the dirt. If you can ever get the beach with dirt and water, it's just that much more potent. Really, it's going to be that much more calming. Not everybody has that access, but generally everybody has dirt. Even if you have no grass, you have dirt. If you don't have a dirt, you have a tree. I find that the people think this is weird sometimes, but it saved me in the quarantine. Hug a tree and watch how you feel. Hug a tree and watch how you feel. And if you're a little more adventurous, climb a tree and watch how you feel. I had one client in Colombia. I used to climb. I used to sit every day in the quarantine. It was my only friend in the quarantine. And I just sat in the tree for at least 30 to 40 minutes a day. And it was game changer. And then make sure you say thank you to each of these elements. Say thank you to the tree. Say thank you to the dirt. Say thank you to the air who gave you the ideas. Say thank you to the breath for reminding you that you're safe. And you'll make a relationship with these elements, and you can then make astrology very applicable. You know, you can take it out of the science and out of the application. You can start realizing that the world is astrology, right? Like it's active everywhere. It's active every day. We just have to take the time to see it. All right, I said stress. I was trying to say Celeste. All right, Celeste. And J. Kef. This is also what I was trying to say. I don't know what that meant though.
Okay, KF said she could see the neighborhood Facebook page as she's sitting on the roof or in a tree. The HOA
What's
letters.
What's KF though?
That's her name. I think it's Kristen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, this is your account.
Yeah, I laughed at her comment about.
I get it. See, I read this and I was trying to read KF and Celeste at the same time, and like I don't know. I was confused.
Yeah, I just laughed at her comment. Sorry.
But this your account?
Astrology.
Is this somebody moderating your account?
I just put a comment in the chat.
Okay, I had a total blind moment. You put the comment in the chat. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought I saw it connected, and I honestly had a total blind moment. I'm done. I thought you had a moderator. I honestly thought you had a moderator.
No. Sorry. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me, Pernell. It has been wonderful, and thanks for sharing your magic. Yeah, I love this.
Absolutely. We'll tap in.
Do it again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hit the thumbs up and the likes button. We will see you all